And I also have an interview. Well, I don't want to give anything away too yet, but we might have some interviews
Oh,
in the
hell yeah.
next couple of weeks too. So, um, with that said, I think we should move to. I think the most substantial story in Texas horniness is Ted Cruz accidentally liked a Brazzers post. um, so Daniel Crenshaw of the Harvard Kennedy Business School. I would like to point out to people, Harvard graduate Dan Crenshaw, uh, recently got busted by our not friends at the Lincoln Project. So I wouldn't normally. Actually, this wasn't even the Lincoln
Honestly,
Project.
this sucks so much. That the
Um,
Lincoln Project was the one that was boosting this.
well, it wasn't. They boosted it, but it was. It looks like Zachary Patrizzo, who is a reporter covering politics for the Daily Dot and Mediaite. So this is not. This is just when again. This is just the Lincoln Project doing a quote tweet for a clout. But
Bunch
it
of
is the
losers.
it is the Lincoln Project who Crenshaw responded to. But so Congressman Dan Crenshaw is currently following an escort on Twitter who charges $1,500 per hour. Um, and now, and the Lincoln Project, does the eyes to that. And Crenshaw responds saying, "Grow up, people. No one on my staff, nor I, purposely followed this account. Thanks for flagging. Passwords changed." So,
Oh my god.
so wait. So I love the thanks for flagging Project Lincoln. I think somebody else was flagging a little bit. Look, if it was anybody but Dan Crenshaw, or somebody I liked, I should say, like say Bernie Sanders, I would just say Bernie Sanders is staying in touch with his constituents in the sex work industry, and there's nothing actually to judge about it. And that would be true. But since it is Dan Crenshaw, and since he's saying he is hacked, or suggesting that this might be the result of a hack, we have to cover it because that's serious business. I
Yeah.
think we should have some kind of investigation because if a congressperson's social media is hacked,
That's big news, especially a super strong secret agent kind of congressperson too.
all
Those
right.
are some hoops that you need to jump into to be able to get that. And I'd like to know what's going on with these hackers too, because you get into somebody's account. How many followers does Dan Crenshaw have? Does he have a
uh,
decent amount?
oh yeah, he has
Okay, it's a
1.1
million.
million.
So you have a million people, and you have all of this power, and it's now time you've hacked past this big time secret agent Dan Crenshaw.
Where do we
And
think these hackers are coming from?
well, they're coming from the escort, right? Because that's just a big marketing scheme. Think about honestly how lame of a hacker you have to be. You don't even do anything funny. You just follow an account, right? With a pretty lady, right? It's like that's like your big hack. Like you flex all your muscle and you get access to this account. You're like, okay, let's just follow this BS account.
It's just subtle enough to drive him crazy and take down his entire operation. But I think, look, I just want to give Dan some operational security here, some tips, because he's been flying around Georgia.
Yeah.
I think he's flew the coop, and somebody has got into his compound and maybe hacked his Twitter account, because here's what he's been doing over in Georgia: is pretending like he's some sort of minor Marvel Universe
I
character.
can't do it, man.
The American story is one of true exceptionalism. It's built on the greatest ideas in history.
Even in his fantasy,
Who
he's giving a
built it?
boring speech. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's true. But even in his fantasy, he's giving the most boring cookie cutter speech.
Built on the greatest ideas. Which part of the colonies was Virginia, because that was basically plant tobacco to the exclusion of everything else and starve, and then expropriate Native Americans for corn when you need it. So those were the ideas of the Virginia colony. You had the Puritans, who were just psychos, who frankly were anti-Christmas, right? Literally tried to ban Christmas. So I don't know what ideas were actually building on. I think it was built by severely exploited labor. I think that would be a objective statement to
A
say.
fundamental idea.
But
Exceptionalism. It's built on the greatest ideas in history. This victory tonight, it's about you. It's about defining those. Sorry, folks. I'll be right back.
Too bad they were all
Wait,
crying over Trump, by the way, on November 3rd. There were no cheering crowds. They were dying. They were losing their minds.
I love how we can't think of a better way to finish the speech somehow. I
Yeah.
gotta go. Everyone's going to be wondering. You're going to be alarming the public, and then give it to my wife, who doesn't say anything.
And we've already put more thought into this than he did.
What do we got? Well, it's not over in Georgia.
I love these two fucking goobers that joined him. I don't know their names yet.
The Senate races went to a runoff. What are we up against?
You'll never believe this.
Far-left activists are attempting to gain full and total control of the U.S.
Is that Chuck Schumer?
We secure a Democratic Senate majority so that we don't have to negotiate in that way.
Should these Senate...
I like how it's like, it's not, we don't have to negotiate.
It's Chuck
we don't have to negotiate in that way.
seats be lost, all will be lost.
You supported the Green New Deal. You supported Medicare for all. Yeah.
Your mission will be to rally support across Georgia behind these American patriots, Senator Perdue and Senator Loeffler. They...
Also, as we pointed out on Majority Report, why is the voice British?
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, we've put more thought into this video at this point than he did, I promise you. He just went into his office, he said, I want to jump out of a plane. Right. And I mean, I think that was pretty much it. It's like, I want to be a big tough spy, and I want to jump out of a plane. That was the production meeting for this video.
Must win.
What's our situation on the ground? We have two patriots down there, Senator Loeffler and Senator Perdue. Great fighters with a great message.
They just need a little backup.
Last question. Who do you want to bring?
Bring everyone.
I like how he just said bring everyone, and then he's jumping out of a plane by himself.
By himself. But also, he has to get out of his election night party, right? So he can get to Georgia, right? It's so urgent. He has to get to Georgia immediately. But yet, even with modern technology and the speed of planes, he's still landing the next afternoon, right? It somehow takes him like 16 hours to get to Georgia from Houston.
Yeah, this is a terrible response time. Doesn't look that smooth there, actually. It looks like he's trying to fly over his ass.
Control, what's the situation at the LZ?
Good evening, sir. Rather lovely form, if I may say so. But we do have small...
Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets a trophy.
Fascists, an ironic term given their propensity to, well, act like fascists, are patrolling the area. Recommend we shift north 3 kilometers. How does that sound?
Negative. I want to say hello to the greeting party. What's the bearing?
Always one for a bit of drama. 90 degrees from your current heading. Be well, sir.
So there's like a bunch of people.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be dark soon.
Antifa famously only does stuff during the daytime.
Yeah. They're scared of the dark.
I don't even know why I'm so angry, you know?
Oh, the news told us to be.
Satire.
Oh. Oh my God. It's so good. I mean, like obviously they wouldn't want to make Antifa look cool. They want to make them look really weak, but it's very funny because it doesn't line up. Like the conservative mentality is to scare everybody, right? That like things are really dangerous right now, and if you don't stand up and fight, we're going to lose our country. Right. And instead of looking to like some of the actual stuff that, you know, people in Antifa have done, right, or all those images, instead they just have two guys like hanging out in a park, right? Like the most dangerous political organization that needs to be crushed, that you need to fly across the country to defeat, you know, and drop out of an airplane. It's just
punch their windshield.
There's like two overweight guys like hanging out in a Prius, right? Like that's what Antifa is like. So even in their fantasy, like, which is really funny because so much of the other Project Veritas or Dinesh D'Souza videos, they make Antifa seem this like super potent political and military outfit that is going to come and take over the country. And in this one, which is again trying to make Dan Crenshaw look like a badass, right? It's just like two guys hanging out in a Prius, like eating some snacks, right? And he's like, "I'm going to kick their ass," right?
What is Antifa doing on maneuvers in the country, by the way? I've never seen that happen a single time.
But they made a bad action movie is what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
at least make them seem intimidating, right? Because all this movie is that Dan Crenshaw is like at a nice party for himself, but instead of enjoying that party, he decides to fly across the country and beat up two guys hanging out in a park. I mean, again, it's really bizarre. And we talked about this a little bit on Tuesday, and some people were saying, like, I'm worried. They were worried about Dan Crenshaw. Don't get me wrong, the Republican Party and Dan Crenshaw in particular are trying to make him like the cool, young AOC style of the right. This dude don't got it. I can tell you right now, that dog don't hunt. I mean, this guy is living in a complete fantasy world. Mm-hmm. He's much more interested in playing a superhero in a stupid 3-minute bit than actually being seen as a conservative leader. And like, the thing is that even the people, like, I don't even think he's like that popular with the right wing folks, right? And I'm going to share this real quick if I'm able to, because this is Dan Crenshaw's former boss
in the military.
In the military. Sorry, I have to do a quick thing right here. But this is Dan Crenshaw's former commanding officer. Man, I'll just have to read it. I can't put it up.
Oh, do you want to send it to me?
Yeah, I can send it to you.
Send it to me in chat here.
Yeah, I'll do it right here. Sorry about that, y'all. But this is Dan Crenshaw's former commanding officer reacting to this video. And just for people who don't know, Dan Crenshaw did another one of these for Texas called Texas Reloaded. And while Matt's pulling up this tweet, I'll also say in the Military Times, there was an op-ed against it, which was very funny. And the person said, a little advice to Dan Crenshaw, who portrays himself as a military man. If you hit your target the first time, there's no need to reload, which I thought was good. But yeah, I'll read this real quick. This is Tony Thomas, who's a retired U.S. Army general, Raymond Thomas, who led the Special Operations Command when Crenshaw was in the military, wrote on Twitter, "Watched this twice now. I was sure it must be an SNL or Comedy Central skit. Nope. Just the baser level of our political environment slips to with each succeeding day. There is a reason 100 million people opted not to vote again this year. Embarrassing."
I love it. Oh, that's so funny to see somebody that higher in the chain of command.
Somebody who he wants to impress, you know what I mean? Like somebody who really wants to love him. It's just making fun of him for being a tool. I mean, it's embarrassing. Like, drop the politics of the military for a second. Imagine coming out of the U.S. military, especially having any kind of connection with special ops, right? And coming back into civilian life, right? And doing crap like this. It's really embarrassing if you're supposed to be the super cool, calm, collected war hero, that you're literally doing, like you're doing a theater kid impression of what it's like to be a special operations, soldier. It's a joke.
Yeah. and there's another part of, I feel like, the military and like veteran community, particularly the more fascist kind, that hates Dan Crenshaw doing that and says, hey, if you want to be on our good side, you need to do things like help excuse certain war criminals and get them off like that.
Yeah, do they like him? Do like the Proud Boys like Dan Crenshaw? I'd be curious.
I mean, I think
like, who likes Dan Crenshaw? So Joe Rogan certainly didn't.
Lynn Wood, the Stop the Steal guy, who's doing a lot of the Georgia stuff, and Crenshaw have gotten into it. Because Crenshaw called Lynn Wood a Democratic plant that was trying to convince Republicans not to vote in the Georgia Senate. But at the same time, Crenshaw's all over like Crowder's show when he's doing Stop the Steal shit. Yeah. So I think Crenshaw's at this point, I think he has some of them and not all of them. And I just want to be there for people to continue publicizing whatever cracks we can in this guy's fucking facade, because I think he's horrible. I also want to bring up the most egregious thing that he's done in terms of his time as a congressperson. Before it was when he was modding a fascist Facebook page, but as a congressperson, when he accused Ilhan Omar of downplaying 9/11, when what Ilhan was doing was de-identifying with the attackers, and which she was identified with just because of her religion. When Crenshaw did that, he was inciting violence against another member of Congress, and that should not be forgiven or forgotten. And I just want to also shout out Hassan, who got in trouble for making a joke about Dan Crenshaw. All jokes about this guy are completely within the ballpark now because of that reason. It's game on, and fuck that guy. So,
yeah, and again, if you're supposed to be the super tough, badass spy character that Dan Crenshaw likes to play on Twitter, he should be able to shrug it off, right? Yeah. He's a snowflake. Sorry, just real quick. He's a snowflake. It's like they were saying this, exactly. He is exactly the caricature of what he's supposed to be, I guess. Super sensitive, super whiny, in his head, all about performative social media nonsense, not about doing anything materially for people. I mean, this is what I said on Tuesday. If Dan Crenshaw is the best that they got, we are good. We are solid, and 200 years of Soviet power are coming to this country. Like, if Dan Crenshaw is like the vanguard of the right-wing movement, like, we are in a good shape. And again, I don't think that he is, but he's somebody that we should definitely laugh at and should, put in his place for his role in amplifying anti-Ilhan sentiment and hatred and imperial power in this country. No doubt about it.
Absolutely.